Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back again with an update regarding the case that I've been covering in Antioch, California. For those who have not known or heard what it's about, it's a case about uh, a host, over 40 now, that they found officers sending racial, homophobic, disgusting text messages, and a couple more updates. And I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to show you one of the text messages to start. So take a look at this with me right here. On April the 29th, this officer said, Officer Amari, Brentwood Police Department, sent a text to Officer, I'm going to say Ludridge. He said, since we don't have video, I sometimes just say people gave me a full confession when they didn't. It gets filed easier. Right? So this officer is absolutely saying that he does this just so that he can get the case through easier. And if you notice on the paperwork there that's redacted, there are several other officers involved. There are sergeants and even some higher up in the lieutenants, right? So I'm going to show you something very important here in just a second as well, so you can see why I'm putting this way and then getting it to try to make context for you, right? So let me go right into the next slide. I want to show you this gentleman here, right here. So this is Adam Carpenter. He is one of 5 who is filing federal lawsuits. He wants to make sure that this department is held accountable, and I don't blame him. And I want to share with you a little bit of his story, and then I'm going to show you a little video as well. So actually, let me come back and I will share with you my thoughts on that, and then we'll get that video and everything set up for you there. So Adam Carpenter, he was arrested on gun charges, right? And then he was on went to federal held for 11 months, and then they dropped the case. Who holds someone for 11 months and they have a case and then they just drop it on gun charges, right? Well, usually that means police planted something or false evidence that didn't go through. It can mean a whole host of things, but it happened, right? They dropped the case. Now, let me tell you what happened afterwards. And he was telling his story today, whereas afterwards, he was stopped for 10 times by the police afterwards. What is that, retribution? Of course. They pull him over and they run his name, and he states how they would put him in cuffs, put him in the car and search his vehicle and find nothing, and then they let him go. No ticket, no report. And for those who say no, it didn't happen, there's documentation, because when he went to the police department, of course, they showed it. He was stopped 10 times. I even tell my own story of how I was pulled over 6 times by officers not giving any ticket, right? Not giving one single ticket. I'm just going to give you a warning. What'd you stop me for? You're not even going to tell me? But nevertheless, I'm going to show you a quick video, and then I'm going to come back to that story, and I'm going to show you one little last thing. I want this to be really quick just to show you this update. So let's jump right into this story here. This is a mother of one of the kids who was arrested by those same officers, and I want to show you the disgusting things that they texted while this young man was laying up in the hospital. So let's take a look at this right now.
To be removed from Antioch Police Department, and I mean moved. I mean criminal. They need to get. I need justice for my son.
Sherelle Cobbs is speaking on behalf of her son Trent Allen, who is one of 5 plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit against the city of Antioch for what's described as malicious treatment by Antioch police. Allen was arrested in 2021 for murder, but his case is taking a turn after the Contra Costa County DA's office released these shocking racist text messages between officers during his arrest, including pictures of Allen recovering in a hospital, with Officer Eric Rumbaugh saying, "I field goal kicked his head." Civil rights attorney John Burris is filing the suit, seeking damages for the subjects of the texts, and also calling for a federal monitor to oversee the department.
Knowing what I know now, this community probably should have been more afraid of the police than the gangsters or the criminals that were in their communities.
Antioch Mayor Pro Tem Tamisha Torres Walker was also in attendance and reacted to the lawsuit.
Everybody always wants us to be careful and be politically correct, but the real deal is that this is reparations for harm. And if there was something done a long time ago, then we wouldn't be at the point right now where the city could be facing a large fiscal liability.
I spoke by phone to Antioch Police Chief Stephen Ford, who was not the chief when the text messages took place. He wouldn't comment on the lawsuit, but said the case is being investigated externally, and he hopes to get a resolution soon. The officers are currently on paid leave. Cobb hopes that's not the case for long.
I just want this department to be cleaned out and not be able to go to another department and work at a different department. I want them to be prosecuted and never be able to have a step of foot to be an officer ever again.
We reached out to Antioch City Attorney for comment, but have not heard back. In Antioch, Pete Serratos, NBC Bay Area News.
So now I'm going to just kind of recap really quick of what I heard here and what I saw. First off, these officers are taking pictures of the person who they just beat and sending it out to their fellow department members, saying how they kicked his head like a field goal, how they stomped him, how they're glad, that this happened. These are the people that you want to protect and serve you, right? And just like, the attorney said, it's almost to the point where we're fearing the officers more, and this is causing so much PTSD, and people wonder why minorities, flee and run from the police, because you're afraid. If I run and get away, I stand a better chance than if I stay there and take a beating from them. Now, I'm not advocating anyone to run or anything like that, but I'm just telling you, maybe that's the mindset of what some people are going through. Right. And this is absolutely horrible. So let's go really quick into the next one, because I really want to show you one of the next phases in which they were doing. So let's bring that up, please. Next slide, please. Thank you, guys. So here I highlighted, these are some of the quick things of the 5 federal lawsuits that are being investigated. And this is from Adam Carpenter, whom I told you about earlier, right? And Adam says that he was arrested in 2020 without cause. Of course, these are his words, by 4 Antioch police officers for possession of a firearm charges, right? Which were later dropped. According to the complaint, leading up to the arrest, Carpenter said he was pulled over nearly 10 times in 11 months. The lawsuit alleges he was the victim of racism, pointing to the number of times the police officers use racial slurs against black people in their text messages. He is not specifically named in the text messages and has shared a point. And I also want to show you one little quick one there in Jonathan Butler. He was claimed he was arrested in 22. It stated he was arrested for discharging a firearm. He was arrested for firing a firearm in city limits, but said multiple officers never found a weapon. How do you arrest me for firing a firearm, but you can't find a weapon, right? So, it's one of those intimidation tactics. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to point this update out of the lawsuit that's happening. I really am going to follow this case because I truly believe that qualified immunity thing is a joke. And police use that badge as a bully to try to bully people. And I'm not saying that they aren't any great police officers out there and they don't do great work. Absolutely. Of course, I always tell you I'm not against police, but I'm against police misjustice and the way that they get off and the ability to hide behind their badge if they do wrong. You and I do wrong, we get fired, we get arrested, we get thrown in jail. These guys, it takes an army of evidence to try to even get them indicted, right? Or even taken to that level, right? Here's a guy laying up in the hospital and he is beaten, and the police officers making a joke and make light of it, saying, I kicked his face like a field goal. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in really quick. I'll be back with more info later on. Appreciate that. And you guys remember, this is being brought to you by Ecamm fam. That platform that helps elevate all of your videos. Sincerely, thank you all. Make sure you check out Ecamm. And if you're interested in it, updating your videos, send me a message. I'll look forward to you and show you a great way to do that. Thank you guys very much, and y'all enjoy.